Are you a purpose-driven entrepreneur struggling to get web traffic that converts into paying clients? Stop wasting time and money. Discover how to position yourself as the go-to authority in your niche or industry. Infuse your wow website with the best unmarketing strategies and drive traffic to your website that converts to leads and clients. Listen to the Unmarket Your Business podcast today and watch as your ideal clients find you with ease. Let's head into the studio now with our hostess with the mostest, Carol J. Dunlop. Hey everyone, and welcome. Carol J. Dunlop, your online wow strategist, and I'm so happy to have you here. This is the very beginning. Guess what? This is my birthday. Happy day. It's the very beginning of February. It's my birthday, and I feel great and awesome, right? So I'm glad you're here to share this day with me. And then I have a very special, super special guest because all my guests are very special. Josh Hall, he is my coach, and he is the founder of the Web Designer Pro community, which I am a part of, which I love, of which you've heard me talk about it over and over and over again. So I got the man with the plan in the flesh today. And we're going to be talking about the lessons he's learned from building a successful community with Web Designer Pro. So I love his approach to membership, community, how he offers his coaching programs. And he took everything that he had learned over the 10 years that he was involved with his web design business. And he first created a club where he had everybody together. And then, when you create courses, the big thing was to create Facebook groups for the courses. And this was just a few years ago, actually. I did that same thing. All of us online people who are doing courses, that's the thing you did. You created a Facebook group, and then you went into the Facebook group and did lives and stuff. But Facebook cut out that we couldn't do lives anymore. At least we couldn't do it through a third party. And I love doing it through StreamYard, me and StreamYard. Total besties there. And so anyway, he took his online to this, I guess it's new program called Circle. I really like the way it works. For me, since everything he has is there, that's cool. But for me, I love to have everything on my website, branched off of my website, in my website, all that stuff. But he does a real good job. And we're going to talk about how he got this done, how this all came to fruition and all of that. So just as an aside to let you know, my goal for the Unmarketing Academy, which is made up of members, is 100 members in 2025. I have 14 right now and climbing. So I'm really putting a lot of focus on the Unmarketing Academy this year because it deserves it. It's a great and awesome program, portal, community builder, and all of that. It's just people just don't know about it as much as they need to. Now you know about it, and we'll be talking some more about that as the podcast goes on, because the Unmarket Your Business podcast is part of the Unmarketing Academy, which is part of my whole Unmarketing Nation thing. It's really been doing well. So we're talking about members, and getting members means you have to get exposure. And exposure brings you opportunities to collaborate with other entrepreneurs. So collaborating has helped me connect with the right people, build meaningful relationships, and position myself as an expert in my field. And it's the reason I've seen such steady growth. If you're ready to attract hundreds of perfect fit clients and position yourself as a go-to expert in your niche or industry, you need the Audience Growth Club. I think I talked about the Audience Growth Club maybe last episode, but I joined on a Black Friday special, and I was like, let me check this out and see what this is all about. Because I said in 2025, I have the membership that I'm growing, the academy that I'm growing, plus I am producing my first retreat at the end of this year in September. So I need to get in front of the people who would want to go to that retreat, who want to be a part of the membership, and who want to do all the things that I want to do and who want to work with me. So I need to get exposed to more people than I'm being exposed to right now. So I made that commitment, and then that just, it's funny how the universe does. Once you say something that you want, that you're in need of, that you feel good about, that you absolutely have to have, and you put it out there, you pray about it, it comes to you. And this just showed up in my feed. Of course, I've been following Tisha. I want to call her Tish. I think it's Tish because I know two people. I know a Tisha and a Tish, and I think she's Tish. Tisha Collins is her name. But I've been following her for a while. Love the way she writes. I just found out about her podcast, actually. So my watch is trying to ask me, how are you feeling right now? I'm feeling wonderful and awesome. So my mood is great because I'm talking about collaborations, and I love collaborations. I love the Audience Growth Club. I'm so happy that I joined it and that I'm a member. I think that first full month right before January, when I had to re-up and decide, should I keep this, or should I, this ain't worth it. And I decided it was definitely worth it. So I'm all in. And that first month, I think I signed up for 7 different things. What she does is she presents you the bundles, summits, podcasts, and giveaways, opportunities that are out there. There are millions. I had no idea there were so many of these things. And I don't know if she ever sleeps because she's always putting it out there, right? And I love it. And I not subscribed. What is it? Applied. I applied to 7 and I was accepted on 5. So that's bundles, summits, podcasts, episodes, and giveaway. Got all of them. My list has grown just from one of those bundles. My list grew 100 people. So I'm like, whoa, this is definitely what I want. So be careful what you wish for, want for, and pray for, because you're going to get it. I want that same thing for you. So if you are interested in the Audience Growth Club, which you should be, all you need to do is go to csicorporation.com/AGC. csicorporation.com/AGC and find out all about the Audience Growth Club. And I hope that I'll see you in there. It is tech time, and my favorite technology, online platform, software, whatever you want to call it, is ThriveCart. I know I've mentioned ThriveCart before in Tech Time, but it deserves a double dose because on the collaboration note, it helps you so much. I think right now, before this year, I only had maybe 1 affiliate partner in ThriveCart. Now I've got like 7, right? So ThriveCart makes it so easy for you to partner with affiliate companies, be an affiliate yourself, or get more affiliates. And affiliates are like those little army people that go out and just proclaim your awesomeness everywhere. They're a workforce that you don't need to pay. Well, basically you pay them with a percentage of the cost of whatever they're selling for you, but they're selling for you. They're your sales force that you don't even know anything about them, but they sell, you make money, and so do they. ThriveCart is a leading innovative e-commerce platform that supports content creators, coaches, entrepreneurs, and online businesses. The intuitive solution allows users to build and monetize courses and to sell digital and physical products online. So I've used them specifically when I've launched my summits. And I just talked about virtual summits for the win in the previous episode. If you didn't listen to that, go back and listen to that after this one, and it'll help you. You'll see what I'm talking about and how you can make money with summits. And I made 3 times more money with my summits when I used ThriveCart as the shopping cart. It was wonderful. And you need to get ThriveCart and do that. Like I said, I put it in Tech Time before. It needs a double dose, so go out there and get it. You can get your own copy, a lifetime access to it. And they're always coming out with great updates and all that. If you go to csicorporation.com/ThriveCart. All right, we are ready to talk to Mr. Josh Hall. Before we go there, I want to let you know how I found him, and it was online. So he has a podcast, he has a YouTube channel, and they kind of intertwine with each other, and that's how he does a lot of his marketing. A man right after my own heart, right? So I don't know which one I found first, the podcast or the YouTube channel, but whatever it was, it popped up in my feed or in my face or something. And I knew that it was special because it was just for website designers. Do you know how hard it is to find a group of web designers who can get along and talk and help each other? Well, that group of people is actually in Web Designer Pro. Ever since the beginning, when I first started listening to him, I was like, man, this dude is really smart. I like what he's talking about. And then he gave me some advice about managed WP, which is what I use to help me manage all my clients in the maintenance program. Godsend, I'm telling you, it's a godsend and wonderful and awesome. So ever since then, I've been right along with him. And then I made the move to join him in July of last year. Haven't looked back. It's been amazing. So without any further ado, let's get to the interview. What's holding you back from hitting go on your marketing plan? Fear, being unsure, imposter syndrome, frustration? That stops now. What if I showed you how to reach your target audience and get them to buy? How to make social media marketing easy? How to understand the power of email marketing? And how to conquer your fear of putting yourself out there? What if I provided you with simple tools and techniques, easy to implement training that bring you clarity, and give you the expertise and the know-how to convert marketing into money? Hey there, I'm Carol J. Dunlop, the online wild strategist and 6-time best-selling author. I teach purpose-driven entrepreneurs just like you to convert marketing into money. If you're a purpose-driven entrepreneur who's ready to stop allowing fear and frustration to keep you stuck and instead embrace clarity, authority, and expert instruction to convert your marketing strategies into money in the bank, then you need to join the Unmarketing Academy. In the Academy, you'll take a deep dive into the tools, techniques, and trainings that helped me and my husband to sustain our successful business in spite of the 2008 recession, 2 major health crises, and of course, the pandemic. The Academy is about replacing expensive, frustrating, and overwhelming marketing practices with simple, easy to implement marketing resources that get you in front of your target audience and get you paid. This Academy is for purpose-driven entrepreneurs who crave simple marketing strategies, coaches who need real-life trainings to take the overwhelm out of marketing, small business owners who are ready to conquer their fear of putting themselves out there, service providers who want to use social media and email marketing effectively, action takers who are ready to go live without fear. Marketing your business successfully takes work and marketing. Without marketing, they don't know you exist. If you're ready to convert your marketing into money, you need to join the Unmarketing Academy. Join the Unmarketing Academy today by going to unmarketyourbusiness.com/join. All right, as I promised before, this is the man, the myth, the legend, Josh Hall. He's sitting there like, what is she talking about? But I told Josh, he can't get rid of me now, because when someone does something amazing for me or changes my mindset or whatever, they're just in my head forever. And I just always talk about them. So I just wanted to say welcome, Josh. I usually come on first and talk and all of that, but we get into this thing because guess what? Josh told me I could ask him anything. So, oh my goodness, I'm ready.
I'm so excited to be here with you, Carol. We have had a DM relationship basically since you joined my Community Web Designer Pro. So I'm so excited to finally, meet you on camera here and be on your podcast. I'm a podcast host and I don't want to immediately start asking you questions, but I have to know because you teased me with this idea of what I helped you, with your mindset. What was something that stuck with you? Like what has made, Pro and what I'm up to?
Okay. But let me start out first because I'm a marketing person and a salesperson, right? So I know about that. I know when I hear the marketing speak, I know when I hear the sales speak, and either if it's good or bad or whatever, I'm going to say, or, hey, I got to do that. So just so y'all know, this was how Josh and I started out. I think I messaged him because he, in one of his, I think it was one of your podcast episodes, you talk about manage WP. I can't even remember what it's called, to help organize your websites and all that stuff. Well, unbeknownst to you, it was taking me like hours, it was saying, to update all those plugins, to do all the stuff you needed to do. And I was just, and it'd been going on for a while. I was like, it's got to be something better. I was even trying to get my husband to do it. I was like, you can do this. He was like, I ain't doing that. So he would not. I was like, can you just help me? I was like, because he likes that back end stuff. He only does certain things. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I was listening to you and you said, y'all got to try Managed WP. What is the name of it? Is it Managed WP?
Yeah, Managed WP. Yeah.
Okay, because I'll switch those names around in a minute. And I do want to give them credit where credit is due because they are totally awesome. So I was like, what is this thing he's talking about? Then I was digging in all of your episodes. I was looking on YouTube when you were talking about that. And I was like, let me go check it out. So I did. And I started using them. They cut like hours down to minutes. Oh my God. It's just so amazing how this one thing just helped my life. It put time back in my life. I was like, oh, okay. So I remembered you from that. And I had been stalking you for a while. I would look at some of the people you would interview and stuff. And I would even do some of the things. I remember when your last child was born and you had sent an email saying, hey guys, I'm going to be out of commission for a minute. We're having some things going on. And I know I prayed for you and your family and all of that. So I'm like, I've been invested in you for a long time, just whether you know it or not. So anyway, I was using Managed WP and one of my sites had got hacked. Not my sites, my client sites, because they weren't listening to what I was telling them to do anyway. And they got hacked. And I said, oh my God, now I've got to go back and it was like, I think before we even discovered it, maybe 2 weeks or so. So I knew I didn't think that I had the latest backup to put them right back up. And I was like, what am I going to do? So I went in, Managed WP, looked at the thing, and I was like, oh my God, they have backups from like way back. So I backed it up to, I think, a month. It was boom. I didn't have to do nothing, just hit a button and it did it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is really amazing. So I messaged them and I said, hey, thank you so much for being a great service. I love what you do. And it was just all glowing, right? They even answered me back and said, wow, we get all kind of crazy messages all the time, but none like this. Thank you so much. So I guess I'm up in their thing too. So then I remembered, because I'm the kind of person I like to give credit where credit is due. I remembered that you were the one who told me about this whole Managed WP thing. And you said, go do it. It'll save your time and all of that. And I emailed you and I was like, Josh, thank you so much for this. You don't know how much you changed my life and blah, 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 blah. And y'all, this is what he said. He's like, Carol, are you in our maintenance? Are you in my maintenance course? Isn't that how we met? I was like, no, not yet. We got to get you in there. That was the start of it. I was like, okay, what is that? What's the maintenance course? Because I had looked at your courses before and I had actually thought, wow, this looks like something I ought to do. And you had them all together in a big bundle, for one price. And I was like, okay, that's on my radar. So I already knew about it, but I had never thought about the maintenance course like that. And you're like, yeah, you got to get in there because blah, 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 blah. And right now you can get in the community. And, we just chat and stuff. And I was like, okay. So I got in there and I said, I think I put my thing, hey, everybody, I'm whoever, blah, blah, blah. And everybody was just so awesome. I mean, totally awesome. They were like, welcome. And this is great. I love your profile. Thanks for being here. And then the ultimate kicker was that, I bet you didn't know you were this good, did you? The ultimate kicker was that you sent me a Loom video when I joined the community, and you went to my site and you said, oh, I see you already got. So it didn't even matter what you even said. Just that video, your casual, like, I think they call it folksy, but I don't think it's folksy. I think it's your genuine you, how you are. And I was hooked. I was really hooked. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just dive in and do this thing. And I think I told you this in writing, but the first month after I joined, our revenue went up 43%.
So awesome.
43%. What?
So awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, Carol. That's it's a great reminder, and it just shows me like what I'm doing as far as how I'm marketing is working by having a podcast, doing a lot of free content. I try to be as present and open as I can with lines of communication via email and stuff. It's getting harder now, but I can tell when somebody like you who's genuine and actually is not using like a template, sales script when they're emailing me. So when you said, hey, I started using Managed WP, I really appreciate it. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I think you had said you're a listener of the podcast. So I don't remember hard selling you as hard as I did, but hey,
you didn't.
Okay,
you
that's
did
good.
not hard sell me at all.
I think at that point, it's like I just laid it out there. I have learned it's like if you got a good offer, just lay it out there. And
that's the thing.
I was just like, Carol, I think you would rock at this. So I'm so glad that. And then, to hear that the personal video, I've been doing those personal welcome videos for like 5 years now. Wow. And I'm always reminded of how powerful those are. So I always encourage everyone, no matter what industry you're in, send personal videos to your clients, especially new clients. It's like you can make a lifetime client by sending a quick video and saying, welcome in.
That is so true. That is so true. Because number one, they're not expecting it. And I had done it for a little bit, then I stopped. And then you made me realize a lot of things, but you made me realize how that little personal touch, something that you do on the regular, it impacts someone so much. And I have this story to tell you that I haven't told anybody yet, but I'm working on this client's website. And she came to me because she said, Carol, I need to talk to you because I had someone else look at my website and I don't think they were telling me the whole story, but I know that you would tell me the whole thing. You would be truthful and tell me what you think. I was like, oh yeah, I'll tell you what I think. And I did. I told her, this don't look right. That's not good. It's not powerful enough, blah, blah, blah. This is good. I like these colors. You could do more. It's just like, okay. So she signed up with me that day to get her website done. Right. So awesome. We're with the holiday and stuff like that. It should be finished in about a week or so. Right. So I got everything together for her. I knew I get these visions, I have to say spiritual downloads from God, who tells me what I need to do for a client, how to make them go, wow, oh my God, that's what I want, right? So I knew that her site just really wasn't powerful, and she was too powerful for her site, but her site did nothing for her. It was just like elementary, and she was all the way up in graduate school, right? So I just sat down and I just let my flow go, let things happen. And I did her homepage. Well, first I sent her the copy. I did all the copy for the homepage, the services page, and the about page, and I sent it to her. And I came up with this title for her, the Storyteller's Architect. That was just haunting me in my dreams, the Storyteller's Architect. And because what she does is she puts people on podcasts. She's a podcast booking agency, right? Christian podcast. And I was like, the Storyteller's Architect. I was like, that'll be good. So I had that in the copy, and she was like, oh my God, Storyteller's Architect. Oh, I never even thought of that. Oh, wow. I mean, from the copy, she was doing this, right? So then I sent her the first draft of the homepage after I got it like I wanted it and stuff. And I just knew from the pictures in my head, I wanted her to be standing tall. That's the first thing that you see. And then she has all these people in her background that she has actually helped to put on podcasts. And I thought that would be really powerful, right? So she's so funny. She got the email. She set up a camera to take her reaction as she looks at the website. And I can't even use a video because she's in a robe. She has no makeup on, just casual. And so she's like, I'm recording this. And she's looking straight ahead at the thing. And she was like, okay, I'm clicking the thing. And she clicks and she's like, oh my God.
So you got to see the wow reaction.
Yes. So awesome. So I got to use that some kind of way.
Oh, right? You have to use it. That's amazing. I mean, hey, if she sent it over to you, as long as, got the robe,
I would think a blur out.
Yeah,
blur out. Like, no, don't even, but just the reaction. Oh my God.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's cool too, because typically web designers either don't see a reaction, or you might be at like a coffee shop and you show a client and then they may be a little subdued because you're there, but that seems like a real natural reaction. So that's amazing.
That was great. I'm going to do something with it. I'm about to show her. I just actually sent her before we got on here. I just actually sent her the about page. I know she's probably going to fall out on the floor for that. So I cannot wait.
That's great.
I know, y'all, we have gotten off track a little bit, but not that much. So Joshua wanted to ask you, really introduce yourself to the audience and tell them what you're about. But the question I have for you is, how do you get traffic to your website?
So right now, I'll start with that. It's mostly my podcast. I host the Web Design Business Podcast, and it's not a clever name, but it is very clear about what it is. So I really have focused more over the past few years on the business of web design. And then that funnels to, just like for you, Carol, it funnels to my community, Web Designer Pro, which now has all of my courses. I have courses that help web designers with the business of their web design business. And it's a community, and it has a coaching element too for those who want more direct access to me and coaching. So yeah, my podcast is my main driver though. I also have a YouTube channel that has grown over the years. I used to do tutorials on Divi, which is what I use for building websites, and then WordPress, which is the platform, and then some more entrepreneurial and web design business related videos. So those are my two primary engines, but the podcast is the one, like 90% plus of members who join Pro immediately say, I've been listening to the podcast. I've been listening to the podcast. So very excited to see that you reignited your podcast, because while there's tons of shows out there, it's still such a powerful tool.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of my main marketing avenues. I'm not terribly big on social media. I use it more of a connector with my audience. And then, as far as getting new traffic, it's podcast, YouTube. And then I'm doing more and more like summit presentations and workshops for partners and stuff like that.
That all sounds good, because, inquiring minds want to know, because that's what this podcast is about, how to get more traffic to your website. Because if it's one thing that even web designers look at, not to think about coaches and marketers, we all want traffic to the website, and everybody's trying to tell you all these little tricks. And sometimes it's just the good old fashioned stuff, like getting on a podcast, talking, promoting your stuff and putting it out there. Because I feel like when you do a podcast, you get into people's brains, right? And you make them think. And when they think, if they have an idea that you sparked, like I did with you, they're always going to remember, because I always kept going back to your YouTube channel and your podcast and the things that you were saying. I mean, you helped me a lot even before I met you. And then just sealing the deal, coming in on that first program, and then getting inside the community, it just piles it on. Like, okay, you're in there forever. And you're right. A lot of people, even this last, I think a lady that came from the UK, and she says, I've been stalking you for a while, and I finally said okay. But the community is the thing that kind of got me there when you were talking about it, and it's the thing that keeps me there. And really, I have very selfish reasons for having you on the podcast with me today, because I have a community, an academy, the Unmarketing Academy. And I love the way your community works. I love that people are engaged, that people talk to each other, that people even hire each other. So how did you tell us the details? I want to know, how did you get all that to start happening? What was the first thing in your brain? I know you couldn't have imagined years ago that it would turn out like this.
There really wasn't a clear vision. So I'm 4 years into it now with this community. And it started initially because I had actually had a suite of courses years ago, and I got students in my courses, but they're all kind of separated and fragmented. And I actually previously had I had Facebook support groups for each course. So I had a bunch of different groups and support, and it was just all over the place. A lot of challenges with that. So I got to a point where I knew, once I had a lot of different courses, I started having students join all the courses together. I was like, man, I'd love to bring them together. So initially I thought, should I have like a student support group? I don't know. I felt kind of odd with that. And then this platform called Circle came out in 2020. And I'm a fan and friend of Pat Flynn and Matt Gartland with Smart Passive Income, which is a pretty popular online podcast and community. They started using Circle, and I felt like, okay, I feel like I could trust them, and therefore I'm going to trust it. I really enjoyed the experience. I looked at a couple different platforms, but I say that because before deciding to build a community, I wanted to make sure I felt really good about the experience and the tool I was going to use. So I fell in love with Circle, and that's when I created, it was originally called the Web Design Club. So prior to becoming Web Designer Pro, the club was basically a way to get just my current students together. and have community and an element of coaching in there. So it initially launched in the fall of 2020, and I think we had 32 or 33 founding members in the initial launch. And here's what's interesting about that, Carol, is I was I don't want to say disappointed, but I was kind of like, bummer. Like I really was hoping to launch with like 100 members.
Right. Yeah.
Not only financially, but I just, I had at that point hundreds of students. I think I was closing in on 700 or 800 students at that point. So I kind of thought that a lot more would want the community, but we only had 30 some. But in hindsight, that was like the best thing ever, because those 30 members very quickly became a glued in core. A lot of the people who are super active today in Pro are still a lot of those 30 some members in the initial wave. So my moral of the story and lesson that I learned when I started was starting small with a community is good, because you get real-time feedback. You get to know your members very well. And then it just kind of grew organically from there. Initially, it started off, my business model prior to last year in 23 was courses first, then a membership second. So I would sell courses, and then I'd have the membership for those who want to go deeper. And then when Circle eventually added course functionality, that's when I put everything together and then renamed it and rebranded to Web Designer Pro. So you just get everything. And now there are levels to get everything. So it grew small, and started small and grew slowly but steady, which I've also found is really good, because I have had waves of new members, but then that can be tricky because you don't get to really give them the experience if there's like 20 people who join at once. So slow and steady, and then just the numbers have gone up and to the right every month. And with recurring revenue, as you know, those things stack up. And it's a slow burn. It's a painful build sometimes in the first year or two, but man, once those numbers start to compound, it's freaking awesome. So that's kind of how I started and built the momentum for Pro.
And not having a clue. How am I doing this? I'm just doing that. But I look at you like, wow, he's got this great thing going, as I've been working on my academy. But then I think, I see the work that you put into that thing. And I do not, honest to God, I do not put that much work into the academy. Not like I'm leaving it out in the ocean or something, but there's other things that I've had to get together. Like, for instance, when I first came to you, we had done web design for years. And then I'd say about 10 years ago, we added in marketing, because we knew that all the pretty websites in the world, they don't get you anything if nobody sees them, right? So like, let's start marketing. So I did marketing. I did social media marketing at first, and then I wrote my first book, which went to #1 international bestseller. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I could be doing this part. But I always it was a problem putting the website design and the marketing together, because am I a web designer who does marketing, or am I a marketer who also does web design? And then when I met you, and you were like, hey, you need to be selling more of your web maintenance stuff, which we had already started doing that about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, doing web maintenance. And I wanted to grow that part of the business, because maintaining the website that you created is just top of the line, because then you get clients forever, right? And they love you, and then they won't trust their website with anybody else. I'm like, I gotta have Carol. So I'm like, well, how am I gonna put this together? And with one magic stroke, you go, look, you can do websites, you can maintain websites, and you can help people market their websites. I have been asking that question forever. How do I put these things together? And then I got in with you and the group and stuff, and it just came together. So I changed immediately. I changed the thing on the front. I think it said create something and something else, and I can't create something and convert. But now it's create, protect, and market.
Awesome. Yeah, because my framework is build, support, grow.
Yeah,
and you can take that idea and rename it, or put anything you want around that. But yeah, you had like 2 out of the 3, and then you had that really important missing piece, which is just support. And then, because as you know, people turn on and off marketing, and they'll ramp up, they'll ramp down, but you always want to get clients to pay you something month to month, ideally. So support plan is just, it's such a great way to go. I'm so glad that's worked out for you.
Oh yeah, me too, because I'm increasing those web maintenance
Yeah.
people. Because for me, now that I have the web maintenance thing down, and I know I can give them quality service and all of that, which is what I think we all want. We all want to give our clients quality service. We want to give them as much of us as we can, but not too much. And then we want to save time for our lives, which I have to say, you do that. You do that. You got 3 kids, you got the wife, you got your business going on, and you still get in there and you talk to us all the time. You're jokey and helping us and all of that. And I was like, does this man have a life? And yes, he does. He has a life. He has a wife. He has kids, and you're always bringing your kids in and stuff. So I just love it. That's I think the feeling that I want for my academy. And then I just learned something from you today. Starting out slow, going through that is not that bad.
Yeah, especially with a community. It's so different when you have a service or a product that you sell, because you, like with courses, I was able to, get 100 students at once and it was fine. Other than a Facebook support group, really wasn't that big of a deal. But when it is a community, a community is by nature so different than a support group or even a big, large Facebook group, because there are, if you want to reduce churn, which means you keep people coming back, you've got to have a sense of cohesion. And there's definitely a lot to it. I mean, I've learned, I really have been very proactive at increasing engagement, tagging people, getting in there, doing better at, and it helps that Web Designer Pro is small by nature. It is a premium small group. If Pro was a 10,000 person group, it'd be really hard for me to keep track of everybody, which is why we have a gated capped tier now for coaching members. Cause I know you, I know your business, I know what you're up to. So that helps too, because I know if someone joins, I'm like, oh, you got to meet Carol and I'll intro you or tag you. So it is a lot as a community builder. But I found that once you get a community or a membership to a place where people really start interacting with each other, it takes a life of its own on.
Yeah.
And then not that I sit back, but now, I mean, I log into Pro most every day, but there's a day where I could let Pro go and like for a day and it would be all right. It would self-sustain. It doesn't need me all the time because members have made it. You guys, like, you're a huge part of it now. You make Pro what it is. So many people make Pro what it is. It's become, it's not like Josh's club anymore. It's Web Designer Pro. So all that to say though, yes, it's been a lot of hard work. Community building is very time intensive. It is hard work. You're seeing it at a place now where it's more mature. So I have my systems down. I have times of day where I go in and in a span of an hour, I'll cook through as many comments as I can and post and DM. And then I move on to, podcasting or a different work block. But I will say I'm kind of glad I built my community when I was full-time online education. I do think it would be really hard to balance a like growing online community and do service work and do a bunch of other projects, because it is very intensive, at least if it's an ongoing community. So it can happen, but I think that's one edge I had is I wasn't an agency owner full-time when I started Web Designer Pro. I had already sold my agency, so I was able to dedicate fully to that.
I like that. I like the way you said it. It gives me hope. It really gives me hope, because in 2025, my plan is to really focus more on the membership piece, because they're like children. You have to focus on it. You have to get rid of those little tangles, and you have to kind of mold them a little bit, and you have to be there, because I have members in there and I have people who look to me for things that I do, but I know it takes more work, and I just had some other things that had priority over that, like moving to Mexico. So,
and one thing I would say, I don't want to discourage anyone who also has, an agency or a full-time something else, because you can definitely still build a thriving community. But I would just have an approach of, like, if I was running an agency and doing Web Designer Pro 2, I would probably try to have like a month or two that is like highly engaged, with a challenge or a sprint or something, and then have a couple months where you just kind of let the community do its thing and check in, as much as you can, or maybe do a monthly AMA or a Q&A or something. I would have that approach though, to where there's season, it's almost seasonal. Like you hustle for a season, back off for a season. If I were managing it, I mean, right now it's my primary source of income. So it's my job. Like my main thing is being in pro. But if it was just a part of what I was doing, I would have a hustle and chill approach.
That's kind of what I'm doing now, because I do the, I do master classes once a quarter. So I didn't.
Okay, awesome.
This quarter was just blown. So starting first quarter, if y'all are listening, starting first quarter next year, I'll be having the master classes, again. So that'll be 4. And then, but I'm getting ready to do a mixer, because I did it the first time last year. And it was just a mixer of the members, people who are thinking about being members, people had no idea. And we just got together for a little holiday mixer. So I'm going to do that again, probably in the next week or so coming up. And that just, keeping interest going until I can get more energy in there.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you for 3 lessons that you've learned from doing the online community, the membership and stuff. Just 3 of the top lessons that you learned from doing that. Personal
welcome videos, big one. I've learned that you have to email people separately and often. So we have, as you know, as a member of Pro, you can RSVP for events and calls that you have access to, and you'll get automatic notifications from Circle. But I actually have a whole separate series of emails that go out. Like when we do our weekly calls, the day before, you get a heads up. Tomorrow we're having a call at this time. One of my favorite tips that I've learned with my community, and I'm shocked at how many people click this email, it's a live now. So every week, you probably get them. I don't know if it's annoying, but it works. So I'm not turning it off. It's, hey, we're live now. And even people, because people are busy, they may see it the day before and be like, oh yeah, I want to join Carol at noon tomorrow. And then they forget, or they're head deep in a project. So the ongoing additional emails have been a huge help. And I'm shocked at how many people open those alongside of their emails from Pro. So that's another big lesson I'd say that have helped me keep people engaged, is the personal welcome videos. And I know that I will have a lot more dialogue initially with members on the coaching tier like that, but that tends to taper off. It's not ongoing. Like I'm not, messaging 200 people a day. It's usually like 6 to 12. It's like half a dozen to a dozen that I'm interacting with. And if I, like, for example, if you and I are DMing, I give you tips, then you're usually off going on it for a few weeks or a month or so.
Right.
So that has helped. The personal video, knowing it'll be a little more time intensive at first, the additional marketing and the email marketing. The other thing that I think is the biggest benefit is having a wins and successes thread. For wins and successes. Like that's what I go back to. It's where a lot of my testimonials come from. It's probably the most popular space in Pro. Like, and for members, if you want to see what's working today in web design, there you go. The people are sharing, I just got 2 clients. This is what I did. So those 3 things combined, I think, have really helped ongoing maintain engagement and inspiration. And with me being at the helm of it and having a personal touch that, like for you, you still reference that experience of that personal video, all those things have really helped. Yeah. And one thing I wanted to ask you, which ties into this, is with your membership, are there different industries of people? Like people in different industries, different
sort of kind of. It's mostly for coaches and service providers. So they can be a productivity coach, a life coach, a transformation coach, or they could be a service provider like a web designer like I am, or a VA or something.
The only reason that I asked that, because I do think that's one thing that helps Pro, is we're all web designers primarily. There's actually some folks who are community builders like yourself, and you're doing web design as a part of your business, but it does help that naturally everyone's a web designer. So there's a common thread. I think with a community like yours and anyone who has a community of different industries, my recommendation would be to try to group them with the other folks who are like that. So if you were to have a space for coaches, a space for creatives or designers, that way they know who are like, who are my people in this community? That way, when I post about something about website related, if John is a business coach and he doesn't know anything about websites, we're not going to have a common ground with that. So, but there's a lot of benefits too to having people with expertise in different areas, because John may suddenly see my post about web design and be like, "Ooh, I need a website."
Right.
Or John might post something about speaking and I don't know anything about public speaking. So awesome. I can learn from him. So there's pros and cons, I think, to having a diverse in the way of like industry group versus, in Web Designer Pro, it's in the name. You're probably going to be a web designer.
Web designers. Yeah. And there's not that many, I know a couple of big ones out there, but my thing is all about marketing. That's what glues my people together about marketing, because they don't know anything about marketing, or they know very little about marketing. And then when they get in there, they're asking the same questions. How do I do a funnel? How do I hook this up to my email marketing? What about social media? So that's how the whole thing started, because I was doing, and this, people are listening out there, this may be good for you too. I was doing these lives every Monday, and then I went to every Friday, and then I did every Tuesday. I think I picked every day of the week to kind of do them on. And I did them for like 5 years, right? Every week that I have video trainings, or all trainings. And I said, I'm going to put them together in a marketing academy so that you can go there and look. If you want to find something about email marketing, boom, there you go. If you want something about social media, if you want to know about, now it's books and summits and podcasts. So that's the glue that kind of holds them all together. Because I had this thing called the Unmarketing Inner Circle. I ran that for 2 years, and it was the same thing. We all came in, I would coach them twice a month. And that's what, I was like, oh, this is good. But it was like $199 a month, and you get 2 sessions. So I'm like, hey, let's put them over here, charge them $97 a month, and you can have access to all this stuff. And then I do the masterclass trainings on top. So.
Gotcha. You have a great setup. I actually didn't realize the extent of everything you had in there. So yeah, if it's an engagement thing, I think it's honestly just worthwhile, being as personal as you can and individually checking in with people, introducing people to each other, and collecting those wins, sharing those testimonials. One thing that's really helped Pro, you mentioned it early on, is having members on my podcast. And that I could do that as a one-on-one call, but then it's like, what a shame no one else heard that. So if they're open to sharing, especially if they're open to sharing numbers. I mean, I love when people are open about that, because I think it's really important, not in a boastful way, but people need to know what's possible and what people are charging. So I love when people are open about, hey, I made $8,000 on this or whatever. It's so helpful. So yeah, I've really, probably 30% of my podcasts now are members of Pro. And sometimes they have areas of expertise. Like you saw recently, Alexia just did a presentation. She was on the podcast. She came up with this launch plan for designers. That was genius. I was like, this is so much better than anything I ever did. Would you like to come on the podcast and then do a training in Pro? So I'm really utilizing, well, that sounds mean, but I'm utilizing the members and their expertise to grow the community, so I don't have to create another training.
But it helps them as well. And I have, I was so impressed by Alexia in the beginning when I first got in there, because I got my eyes open for, hey, this person would be good, or hey, that, or that's how I did the women of color web designer panel. That's how I put them together. Alexia, by the time this comes out, Alexia's thing will already have run, and she's talking about branding. She's amazing. I think girl was like 27 years old. I'm like, you got an old soul and you know a lot for 27 years old. I was so impressed with her. Oh my goodness. So, to me, the community that you have helps me in several ways. It helps me learn more about being a web designer. Yay. It helps me learn tips and tricks and what other people are doing, and, the different levels that people are at. That's good. But it also is a place where I can look for podcast guests, summit, JV partners, all of that, because some of the people that are in there, I don't do their stuff. I do copywriting, but I'm not a copywriter. So I have an episode that I'm going to do with a panel of copywriters, and I have my eye on one girl who was in one of the trainings. I can't, Abby or Annie or something like that. I can't remember her name, but I'm gonna look her
Abby,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, and get her on, because she was amazing, right, with her copywriting. And people don't know about these things. So I just love, I love community anyway. And I love having vibrant, engaging people in there that make it exciting. And I think that that's what your community does. It helps me to think. And I'm always in there. Like, yours is the only community I'm probably in, like, just about every day. Seriously. Either I'm reading, or I'm replying, or I'm thanking, or I'm putting a win or something up. So it's a good thing. I mean, you've created a great, great thing. Now, before I let you go, I know that you have some type of challenge that you would like for people to do. Maybe they're thinking about doing a membership, or maybe they're like, wow, I got all these videos just like Carol does. Maybe I can put it in an academy, or I got all these courses like Josh has. Maybe I can join Circle or do something. What would you say to them? How would you help them get started with this?
I have found that there's a lot of power with the big 3 C's, which are courses, community, and coaching. Mm-hmm. What I would say is, if you can figure out a way, especially if you do have resources or information that you want to package up in some way, and have community, and have you do some sort of coaching with that, which could be as little as like a Q&A a month, just showing up to answer questions. There really is a lot of power in those 3 things combined, because you get courses, the info if you want it, depending on where you're at, what you're looking for. You get community support, and you don't feel so alone. You get to partner up with people, like you're saying. Yeah. And then if there is, there's got to be, the thing with a community is there's got to be a leader. If you don't have a leader, it just fizzles or goes all over the place. Like, you need somebody at the helm. So for anyone who's interested in that, I would say, heads up, a hidden thing you'll probably need to be working on is personal growth and leadership. Like, being a community builder is mostly leadership. It's mostly leadership stuff. You're dealing with different personalities. You're dealing, every once in a while, you'll get some conflict. Luckily, Pro has been like, I better knock on some wood.
Yeah, a lot of wood. Yeah.
I think I've deleted 1 comment.
Oh, wow.
In Pro in 4 years, because it was just like, that wasn't, and it was some guy who was trying it out, and it just was not it was like, yeah, that's not cool. Like, we don't talk, that's not how we roll here. I'm big on free speech and being yourself, but if something is like, tearing somebody down, that's not happening. So that's the only time I've ever had to delete something. But, that comes with, anytime you have a bunch of people together, there's going to be another side of that, which is managing people and fostering the vibe. And I think if you're who you are, like, you're going to attract and continue to attract people who are like you, Carol, who are fun and charismatic and want to have fun doing their business and do a lot of different things. So I think all that to say, though, like, community, coaching, and courses, if there is a way to get those in there, it's just 3 avenues of keeping people there. Because if you just have courses, somebody may want community and go elsewhere. They may want coaching and go elsewhere. Vice versa. If you just do coaching is great, but if you don't have any resources to back that up or a community to support them, it's all on you. So yeah, I'd say for anyone who's starting, even if it's just one, like, you have your resources, you have a support community, and you do a monthly call, that could be it. That could be a great start. That's
as simple as that. As simple as that. Yeah, I like that.
Community coaching, great start. And then I would really, really encourage everyone to consider the personal video thing. Personal video welcomes, follow up with people, hustle in the beginning with it. Yeah, it's going to be, a lot of engagement and time, but man, it really starts to compound when people go, I don't want to leave. I can't imagine leaving this. It's like, what a compliment for you to say you log in there every day or every other day. Like, that's huge. I don't do that for any other communities. So like, that's a huge, huge compliment. So it can be very overwhelming, but start small, and then use the 3 C's. And I didn't coin that term, by the way. But man, it's powerful. Yeah,
it is powerful. And I love what you're saying. And it seems simple, because most of the people out there who want to do some type of academy or online community or something, they have a community. They're probably a coach or even a service provider. You can gather them around an idea. And if you got a course in there, they want to ask questions about the course, because just having the community and you're going through the course helps so much. If you have this, it seems like an idea that I should know. Why can't I get it? And you put it in there and then 5 people answer you like, oh, that wasn't so bad. So yeah,
and,
I love that.
For folks early on too, I would highly recommend starting off with like a boot camp or a 6-week sprint or something like that before you commit to doing an ongoing forever community.
Yeah.
Like I knew when I started this, I was in it for the long haul. I had already been a course creator for several years and everything, but I think it's really important to see if you like it, because I think a lot of people do start communities and then they're like, oh my gosh, this isn't easy passive income. This is really hard. I've done a lot of different types of work. I've sold products, I've sold services, I've done it all. Community building is by far the hardest that I've done. It's easier now, but especially in the early days, like community building is very, very hard work. So, and you do have to be a person who likes people and wants to interact with people. You know, honestly, like some people, some people should just be a product creator. You should create products, you should sell them. And if you don't really care, like if someone emails you and you really don't care about what they have to say or their challenges, then don't start a community. You're not gonna, it's not gonna go well. Some people are really good at products. Some are good at services. Some are good at software. Do that. But if you want to try community out, I would say just give yourself a constrained, like, let's try it out. 6-month program. Here's the course. It's backed with community, and I'll go live once a week for 6 weeks. And then after 6 weeks, if you're like, that was awesome, then roll it into something ongoing. After 6 weeks, if you're like this, I am drained, I never want to do this again, you're off the hook. You don't have to cancel a membership. You're done.
I love that. That's some great advice for anybody wanting to, I guess, you know, the whole thing is about people are trying to seek out passive income. Passive income is not really passive. We're working hard for this, whatever this income is. That's how I know that I have a little ways to go with my academy. That's why I stopped, you know, I'm taking care of people in there, but I stopped like just obsessing over it. And I know, okay, a little bit more, because just look at what I did this year, just since June with my web design business and with the community there. So I know that it's possible with what I want to do, but I have to, you got to prioritize things. What's the most important thing for you to do? Do that. And then prioritize something else.
Josh, I was just gonna say real quick, because a lot of people are probably going to start a community or a membership alongside something else. So yeah, you don't want to get into a place where you start something that you can't sustain. And that's very, very challenging. So yeah, I love the idea of like a sprint, you know, do something in like a 6-week format or 2-month format, see if you like it. That goes with everything, by the way. When I started a podcast, I just did an interview series for I interviewed 9 other people. I loved it. I really enjoyed conversations. A couple of people said you're a great interviewer. And I was like, I think I could do this, you know, once a week for a long time. So it's kind of the basic recommendation of try it out first before you commit.
And just test and see. Watch, rinse, and repeat. And sometimes you don't need to repeat. Just leave it alone. Let it go. All right, Josh, I want to let you get out of here. This was amazing. I was looking so forward to talking with you. You did not disappoint. You're the same as always. Just like Alexis told me. She was like, he's the same. He don't change. Just like you see him in the group, he's like that in real life. And
oh, that's a great point. I can't leave without talking about that real quick. Yeah, I feel like we just got started. So
I know,
Alexis is one of the founding members. I think she was like the 6th or 7th member. She's amazing. Just incredible story. She had the best year ever this year in 2024, like far surpassed her revenue from years prior. So she's incredible. But the reason I mentioned that is, I got to meet with her and a bunch of other pros in person last year. That's another big thing, is if you can get people together in person at some event or something at least once a year, it's huge, because that will carry over for months. I'm still buzzing off that event. That was last year. And it came at a really important point too, because my numbers were down at that point and I was doubting myself a little bit. I was like, is this what I should be doing? And then hearing their stories and meeting Alexis and the other pros, and then hearing them talk about, because unless you proactively ask for testimonials and stories, you're probably not going to get them unless you just randomly reach out. So yeah, that was huge. That I left that event going like, okay, this works. I just need to do better at marketing it, doubling down on what's working, being more present, sharing these success stories and wins. And then, coincidentally, my numbers started to go up big time after that. So,
but you never know until you get out there and do it. Like, we're telling people, because like I said, I was very selfish. I wanted you on here because I wanted all your secrets. I wanted to know, and a lot of stuff just from being in the Web Designer Pro community. You said the same thing that I kind of already knew. You're personable, you're active, you're managing people. And I knew that part about it and stuff. But sometimes it's just like, you just got to try it out and see what works. Because my unmarketing inner circle, I had that for 2 years. I really liked it, but it kind of fell off. And I kind of like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, but I want to do something different. But I've been working on the academy for a while. And it's had its peaks and valleys. And what I've started to do now with my web design clients, because I know that they have so many questions, that's one of the bonuses they get of getting a membership inside of the academy. So then I can work with them and they see me doing all this other stuff. So I'm working on it. It's
that's
like
beautiful.
Like a little clay thing, because and what cemented me in that, it was one of your videos in, I think it was a web designer course, where you said, your people are going to have questions, maybe create a page that's not customer facing and just give them the link to it. And you tell them all this stuff. I was like, well, shoot, I got over 300 videos. That's what I'm going to do. So I started the people who came in to do websites. I knew they would need marketing. So I'm like, hey, and you get a membership in the Unmarketing Academy. And that's how I'm building it right now. So I know I got people locked in. And
I love that. Love that.
Yeah. So, hey, you do a lot of stuff and you don't even know. You don't even know how much you.
And there is a lot of, I think that is kind of a new thing for web designers. There's a lot of opportunity now for some sort of support, like customer support community. And I mean, you tell me, clients probably get a website from you and then they realize, oh my gosh, Carol is like, she's a marketing, guru. She's got a whole academy. She's teaching other people. As a client, talk about like upsell opportunity left and right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can roll people into, and even like if you're selling a marketing plan, you could say, when you're on our marketing plans, you also get the support community and they could join monthly calls or whatever. I mean, I think there's a real huge opportunity that web designers are sitting on for getting clientele together and being more of almost like a coach or consultant in that realm. And if you have clients that are similar, or like you who have a focus on marketing, you're sitting on gold. So it's awesome. And it's a win-win because they learn and they can stay connected and keeps you top of mind. I could go on and on about the benefits of community, membership.
I know, but they talk to each other. That's a good thing. And they find out things, like, for instance, the lady that I was telling you with the web design thing, I'm in this other group that is all about collaborations, right? And I saw a podcast that she should have in her inventory, and it's called 9 to 5 something, like Christians in the 9 to 5 community or something. And I messaged her and I was like, hey, do you know about this podcast? And she was like, no, I need to put this in my thing. Are you going to be on it? I was like, no, this was in another group. And I just wanted to make you aware of it. So I'm always, and I know you do this as well, thinking about my people, where they are in their journey, what they're doing, how I can help them or how I can assist them in other ways, so that when they come to me and they say, Carol, I need this right here. Oh yeah. It's either paid or free or whatever. Yeah. And I'm a resource, because I know you're a resource, because I message you when I need something and you get back to me and you tell me stuff. And I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. Thanks, Josh. And then I'm on my merry way.
There you go. Yep. Yeah. And the cool thing about that too is a lot of, I feel like a lot of client success is hidden from web designers. It's like, oh, you got a client result. That's awesome. Maybe you'll get a testimonial on your page. Like, that is the opportunity to repurpose that for your other clients. Yes. Ideally in a community like this of clientele, but also in newsletter or a podcast or an interview series or something. But yeah, I mean, that's the really cool thing about having a support community for clients is if one client shares their win that Carol helped me with, then you might have, 30 other clients that see that and they're like, ooh, I want to do that too. It's a lot easier to sell to people who are your current clients because they already know, like, and trust you instead of having to go find new clients all the time. So yeah,
that is a key, y'all. You can sell to the people that you have now without trying to look at other people that don't even know you. And you can resell stuff.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Resell, upsell, or I mean, a lot of clients just don't know what you're doing if you're doing, especially marketing services. So if you get an SEO win and one client's like, oh my gosh, I worked with you 4 years ago. I didn't know you were doing this. I would love to do that.
Right.
Yeah. So sell to the people who are you're already selling to.
Yeah. I find that people don't really listen until they need something. So you can tell them all day long, I shine black shoes. I shine black shoes. I shine black shoes.
Yeah.
And they will come to you and say, oh my God, do you shine black shoes? That's what I was looking for. Like, yes.
And a lot of people, I think a lot of people can't visualize a result sometimes. Like as web designers, we know what a Google ranking would do, or we know what a win would do, like with contact form submissions, with conversion rates. Clients don't really think like that. It's because it's not their world. It's not what they do. So if they see a result and they see like, yeah, we got a lot more contact submissions, our revenue increased by 20% or something, they're like, oh, now that's interesting. Yes. So they need to see results,
testimonials. I plaster them everywhere, always testimonials. Even in the podcast, y'all will see as we go on, I have a client spotlight that's going to be coming up, and I pick one of my clients and talk about them, because I think that the more success my clients have, the more I have. We're just lifting each other up, 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 up. And so I want to keep that going. And you do that same thing, Josh. You put people on your podcast, you get them in the hot seat, and you make them quit their job. No, you don't make them quit their job. You tell them that they can't quit their job. But when they do, I was thinking about this. You need to have some type of that was easy button or something. Because, when we have cancer treatment, when you get through the chemo, you go ring that bell, ding, 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 I'm finished. Yeah. So when people like quit their job, because a lot of us in there, I haven't had a job in like almost 30 years, but there are some people out there who are going from the other E, the employee, to the entrepreneur. So a bell or something that they do.
I love that idea. You saw Ben just went full time 2 weeks ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So no, that's a great call. Yeah. I mean, I thought about putting like a little swag or package together, but I love that idea of like a ring the full-time bell or something like that. I mean, most people post about it, but
ring the entrepreneur bell, something. I don't know how we could do that so they could all see it, but I think it would be good, because it's one of those things that's, dang, I did it. That's great. I know he had been talking about it for months. He'd been fretting over it, him and his wife and stuff. I told him I was so happy. I have not even listened to that piece yet, because I've been busy trying to get other stuff doing. But I said this week I'm going to go back and listen to that call, because I want to see and hear when he did it, because I'm just so proud of him. I'm so proud of the community all together with the stuff that we are doing, how we're making waves in the entrepreneurial world. When you think about web, I design websites and people are living off of this. I'm living off of the money that I get from designing websites and having people, work with me. So,
and look, Carol, you're a huge part of it. What you said right there is key. You just shifted from your community to, you said we're doing this. And when somebody says we, that's like, there could be no better compliment for a community builder than when somebody says our community or we do this.
Yes, we're doing that. We're for everybody. And I just want to let everyone know that's listening right now, you can do this too. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, what you're doing or whatever. You can create an online community that brings you joy, that brings you happiness, and brings you money. That's what we need. Money. All right, Josh, I'm going to let you get out of here. But before we go, I know you had a little something to tell our people. We always like gifts or something, but what you got?
Yeah. So I told you before, I feel bad because I don't really have any resources for community builders at this time. I'm all in on web designers. But I do have, my podcast is free. My YouTube channel is free, tons of free resources. I would just say go to webdesignerpro.com. And there's going to be some information there. At the time when this comes out, I'll also have a couple of free trainings that can help start a web design business. Even if you're not a web designer, if you're curious about what that would look like, that'll be a good help. So just go to webdesignerpro.com. There'll be a ton of links there for freebies and to check out Pro if anyone's interested.
Yes, great. Awesome. Y'all go do that. Check it out. Check it out. So Josh, thank you so much because, being my coach, I claim you as my coach now, but being my coach, you know how coaches are sometimes, I ain't got time for you little person there. But when I just want y'all to know, when I asked him, he was like, I'm there. Just let me know I'm here. So, that means a lot to me when the people that I'm learning from, that are mentoring me, that are helping me can say, hey, I'm willing to help you with something. Cause I do that all the time with my people, all the time. So that means a lot. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, any member of Pro who has a podcast, just let me know. Cause I will absolutely jump on and talk shop. So this has been great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Carol. Keep it up, Carol. All right, I'm your coach, so I'm going to tell you, keep it up. Let's make 2025 the best year yet.
You got it. Is your website ready for prime time? When your ideal prospects land on your website, do they see the true professional you are, or are they greeted by a site that's not quite ready for prime time? For 30 years, we've helped coaches and service providers transform their online presence into powerful client-attracting machines. As a premier website designers in the Atlanta area, we don't just build websites, we create conversion engines that work for you 24/7. Why choose CSI for your WOW website? We're experts in authority marketing. We help you convert web visitors into paying clients with our proven unmarketing strategy. We offer complete protection. We'll work hard to keep your website safe from hackers and accessible to all. And we offer purpose-driven results, custom designed for coaches and service providers who want to make a real impact. If you're ready to make an impact with your website, download our free WOW Website Planner today. Inside this planner, it'll give you all the information you need to create your own WOW website. Whether you use us or someone else, you need a WOW website that converts web visitors into paying clients. So go to csicorporation.com/planner right now and download the free WOW Website Planner. Hey, welcome back. Did you like that interview? Isn't he something? And did you notice how we were both trying to interview each other? He's asking me questions. I'm asking him questions. We're both taking turns about being the podcaster and the interviewee. It was so much fun. I really had a great time. The Client Success Story Spotlight, a very special one today. Dr. Lori A. Mans. Dr. Mans and I call her Dr. Lori, we met several years ago when I was looking to create a marketing plan for a women's professional meeting group that I was part of. And I don't know how her name came across. God just felt we should meet, I guess. Can't remember. But we started talking and we became friends. We said we were going to do some collaborations together. And that is exactly what we've done. That was maybe like 10 years ago. I don't know. But we've been doing a lot of collaboration together. She was actually in one of my books. She Thinks Like a CEO. And we came together on another project that didn't quite pan out. And that's how the She Thinks Like a CEO came about. Now, she recently received the Joseph R. Biden President's Volunteer Service Lifetime Achievement Award. That is amazing, for her nonprofit. And she's been a nonprofit leader and led an award-winning nonprofit called Live Healthy and Thrive Youth Foundation for 14 years. Congratulations, Dr. Lord. That's great. And I mentioned that she was a Bestseller Lab student. And I'm so excited about this because Dr. Mans is joining me as part of the Bestseller Lab program to teach the students all about how to create a launch that is both profitable and solidifies your authority and makes you be looked at as the go-to authority in your niche or industry. She's going to come on and talk about that. Now, if you're listening or watching this episode and it's after 12 noon on Thursday, February 6th, which is my birthday, then you missed it. But it's okay because you can go to unmarketyourbusiness.com/WTB. Stands for Write That Book. Unmarketyourbusiness.com/WTB and register, and you'll get all of the videos, the testimonials, the students who are talking about the books, all that good stuff. And you get to see Dr. Mans as well. So go do that now. Go do that now. Hey there, would you like to be a guest on the Unmarket Your Business podcast? Simple. All you need to do is go to unmarketyourbusiness.com/podcast. Ready for your spotlight? Be on the lookout. All you need to do is be awesome by either being a client or letting me know you used, did, or followed the advice you heard right here on a previous episode. Post it on social and be sure to tag me at CSI Corporation and use the hashtag Best Unmarketing Strategy. When Josh was on, he was talking about a challenge that he issued to everyone out there. And just to bring it up so you remember and you do it. If your clients, look at your clientele list or your customers or whatever, look at your people. And if your clients are at different stages, consider creating a membership area where you can address all their needs, their learning, their community, and taking action. Now you can make that a separate part of your site. You can make a whole separate site. You can use one of the things like Circle, like Josh uses, or you can even do a Facebook group if you want to. I don't really advise that because Facebook's doing some crazy stuff nowadays, and you may be out in jail or something. But you can divide up your website and put them there and have a place where you can communicate with them. Let's recap the 3 things that I want you to know from this interview. And that is number 1, use personal welcome videos for new members. Josh does that so well. New members or even just clients. If you don't have any members or you're not thinking about doing a membership, do personal welcome videos for your clients. I think he uses Loom. I do have a subscription with Bonjoro. I'm getting that mixed up with that weight loss medication. Bonjoro, sorry. Excuse me. It does those little quick videos you can send out to people. So I'm going to definitely get back into using that for my members that join and for my new clients that come in. I think seeing your face and having that welcoming, happy attitude, it lets people know that they're not just a number, that you really do care. The second one is to email people often and separately to let them know what's going on and when you're live. So he was talking about this little button that's in Circle and just says Josh is live. So if you log on, you'll see Josh is live and you can join. He said that's been the biggest thing to getting people on there when he's going live. So, of course, you have to have members in there that are actually looking at it and going live, but you need to email them and let them know I'm going live at this time. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So keep them up to date about what's going on. And I have made a promise to myself that I'm going to do much better with that in this year as I grow my membership, because I need to let the people who are there know what's going on. And I need to let the people who don't even know about the membership know what's going on. And then finally, the third thing is create a wins and successes thread so others can see what's possible. So definitely I'm going to be doing that. Starting in my Biz News Roundup every Saturday, I'm going to have a section talking about just the accomplishments of the members of the Unmarketing Academy, showcasing them, and then telling people, hey, you can have this success as well if you join. So I thought those were really good things to make us go, and see how we can not only make our memberships better, but how we can make our business better altogether. Would you like to get free coaching from me? Simple. All you need to do is go to unmarketyourbusiness.com/podcast. It's time for you to get this book. I know I put this book out there before, but it merits being put out there again in light of who is in the book. And the book is She Thinks Like a CEO. And it features one of the co-authors is Dr. Lori A. Mans, who is helping me not even helping me. She is working with me in the Bestseller Lab, the program that I'm getting ready to launch at the end of this month. So I am so excited about this book and about Dr. Mans being a part of the program. This is crazy. You need to get She Thinks Like a CEO. You can get it by going to CSIcorporation.com/She Thinks. It is a collection of women of color leaders talking about how they leverage their business and are succeeding through the use of technology. I talk about Active Campaign, which is one of my very favorites. I think Dr. Lori talks about video marketing. We have someone talking about how you can save on your gas mileage. You may not think about that, but that's a big thing now, especially with gas prices going through the roof. If you actually do go around to do things and they're business related, she has a great plan on how you can do that. She goes to that. Other people are talking about Canva. They're talking about social media, just all kinds of things, the technology that we use as leaders, as CEOs, and we can help you with that. So again, get that book, csicorporation.com/she thinks. A very heartfelt and warm thank you goes out to Josh Hall for coming on and sharing his successes and, not so much successes in building his successful online community. So join me next week. I'll be talking about becoming a best-selling author in 30 days. I'll take you through my process to become a best-selling author, not just in 30 days, but anytime you want. You can use this again and again and again. So be sure to join in for that episode where we're talking about becoming a best-selling author. Now, if this podcast has proven valuable to you, please share it with your audience. That would be amazing. And I would love for you to leave a review because that helps others find us and get more of this amazing awesomeness out there. And also to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Thank you so much for joining me today for this episode, and bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Unmarket Your Business podcast. Heard something you want to take action on? Great. Check out the show notes on unmarketyourbusiness.com/podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Please do me a favor and leave a review or on whatever platform you use to access this podcast. It really helps us to spread the word and get this podcast in front of the entrepreneurs that need it. See you next episode.